What is going on, everybody? This is another Pop Culture Crisis television review for The Last of Us, Episode 7. My name is Brett. I'm here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. I can't believe we're still doing this. There are just too many episodes. Like, the fact that we have to still watch 3 more makes me wonder why.
And for once, I agree with you. This is another one. This is like, to me, it was like the showrunner, just like Episode 3, whereas even though I kind of liked Episode 3, it's like somebody was like, you know what we should do? We should just go on this journey, but just take intermittent, just absolutely insane detours in which we make no progress whatsoever.
I mean, just stop thinking that your show is so magnificent. Yeah. That's what I'm getting from it, is such a feeling that I am like being forced to participate in their, artistic masturbation.
That's what it is.
Like, it's like a Louis C.K. situation where I'm like backed against a corner.
In this case, it's not even just that, but it's a poor use of time. Meaning that they could have done this story, which is Riley and Ellie go to the mall, and they could have done it with about half the scenes and still incorporated Joel.
It could have been, I mean, especially when they started playing Mortal Kombat, I was just like, oh, you're going to show them playing literally every round of the game in detail? This is so exciting and entertaining.
I tweeted last night, I said, Raiden and Melina, some conversation happened about like which characters they were going to pick while playing more. Oh, absolutely. Look, if we're to accept the idea that no detail goes into these shows without some amount of forethought, you don't think at least 2 people had a conversation about what characters they were going to pick? They had to pick they showed Melina's fatality, so at the very least they had to look up, it's not like Bella Ramsey knows how to play Mortal Kombat 2 on the arcade version and knows how to do fatalities.
To do it for them.
Okay, here's my big complaint for this episode. They don't talk like kids. They talk like 35-year-old Hollywood writers, buzzwords and all. They don't talk like teenagers who are living through an apocalypse. A teenager would not say the word propaganda. A teenager would not say the word fascist dickbag 3 times in a 3-minute time span. They wouldn't do that.
If anything, they would be incredibly poorly educated and have very low vocabulary, given that they were educated by a military dictatorship that is very short on resources and just like reading materials in general.
It's the buzzwords. Like when I hear Ellie, who cusses like a sailor anyways, suddenly eloquently use the word propaganda in a sentence, or I hear the other girl use fascist 3 times. I'm like, teenagers wouldn't talk like that.
No one without the internet would be this mentally ill.
No, they would. No, I'm just
they don't. I mean, I liked that they didn't know what a screenshot was.
Yeah,
but they have none of the naivete of a kid. And I also don't remember Riley being 17. I mean,
no,
she said she was turning 17.
They were aged up.
They aged at least Riley up,
but
not Ellie.
I think they're both technically aged up in the series.
And I don't remember them having the alcohol in the game either.
Here's a fun fact. The actress that played Riley, Storm Reed, played a character named Riley in an episode of NCIS Los Angeles where she got kidnapped and had to be rescued by LL Cool J. Just a fun fact for anyone who's wondering.
I've never seen her before, but these girls are so, I'm sorry, but they're very unpleasant to look at, and I just don't enjoy the experience of having to look at their faces. They're unsightly.
I did like seeing Terry Chen. The guy who plays Captain Kwong at the beginning.
Oh yeah, I was like, how did they like mold a plastic name card for him? Yeah. Like where was that manufactured in the QC?
Maybe he was a captain beforehand. I don't know.
Right, yeah, good. Yeah, totally. When he was like 20 years old, he was a captain.
It also said, according to the original IMDb list, that Ashley Johnson was in this episode. Ashley Johnson is the actress who voices Ellie in the game, and I didn't see her. I might have missed it. She's also she's in Vox Machina, which is right now, it's based on the show Critical Role, the YouTube show that her and a bunch of voice actors play. Look, the set design for the mall was really, really good, and that's about the nicest thing I can say about this. Like, when they lit up the mall, that was beautifully done. And the only other good thing that I can say about it is Ellie's reaction to getting bit was accurate to how I would imagine a person with her personality would act.
What do you mean?
Like her anger, her virulent anger at the beginning, or like right after that happens.
Okay, but then when Riley starts giving this like rousing speech about it, like, we still live on 2 minutes or 2 days.
You're a teenager, dude. You don't talk like this. You don't talk like this.
They'd probably just like cry. I don't know.
Also, I
love also that the cordyceps like. We get so little screen time of cordyceps, but I love how they like actually get like scrappy with you. Like, they actually throw down and like seem to have fighting skills. It's like kind of hilarious to
Somebody should make like a digital short of like cordyceps like ninjutsu training where like a cordyceps like ninja master is teaching a classroom of them how to do martial arts.
Right. It was like, it looked like choreographed fighting, and it was like funny to me. It's like it still has reason enough to get scrappy with you, you know?
I really do think that the biggest complaint here is it's time management, right? Like, what they could have done is they could have made a bunch more progress with Joel. Like, it literally does a thing where like at the beginning of the episode, she's about to go out the door and she starts having her flashback, right? And then at the end, the flashback's over and she moves out. I'm like, how long was she sitting there to remember all that? Was she literally sitting in a hallway? Like she paused and goes,
like an NPC
for like 45 minutes.
She was like glitching
for like 45 minutes. They could have cut the scenes down in half. I don't need a scene of them looking at lingerie. I don't.
What? Well, okay, it wasn't Riley. Ellie was looking at the lingerie.
I don't need either of them looking at it.
Is she looking at it because she wants an actual bra and not a binder on?
Because they've never seen such a thing before. And they're like, I don't like. Okay, there was a couple of things that were good bits of dialogue that would speak to someone who's lived in that situation. Which is one, Ellie not knowing the term for escalator. That was clever.
Okay.
Like I feel like a lesser writer would have just said escalator, not realizing that she just didn't grow up in an era where that was a thing. But also the part where Riley says, like, I don't understand why people before it happened would want any of this stuff. Like, that is accurate. Like, you would wonder, why do people need such trivial things? Because they didn't live in a world where triviality was something that existed. But then you can't have them talking like college professors.
I think Riley had a far too articulate and complex understanding of why she wanted to join the Fireflies than she should have for her age. Like, she's far too emotionally intelligent. Like, to make the connection between losing her parents and wanting to be chosen by people who want to lead her.
That's something that they would have manipulated out of her, not something she would have been cognizant of.
She shouldn't be cognizant of that, let alone like explain it in that much detail.
Even Ellie saying, you're fighting for a cause you don't really understand. Kids don't talk like that, dude. People on the internet talk like that.
It was lame. I mean... But it's gay, so you're supposed to like it, right? We'll talk about that later on the show, but I've just had it with this show. Yeah. Like, I didn't even want to turn on this episode because I just knew you had warned me that it was just going to be gay.
The trailer was it was like, it's like, imagine The Last of Us, but gay. And also, you can't say that there isn't an agenda. They literally pass by Tess and Joel with no time whatsoever. Like, no attention is paid to any of the straight relationships. Also, I now that I think about it, like last week when we were talking about the previous episode, you're like, what was it, a racial thing when they're talking?
Tommy and
but
his wife?
I don't think that actually makes sense because Joel's daughter was biracial, so.
Well, not in the game.
But in the show, but somebody also in the comments was like, Joel's white in this. I'm like, Tommy's not.
It would honestly be a weird coincidence that the both of them married black women.
People said that in the comments.
But it was like, she would still be unwelcome in that conversation, that private conversation, despite being Tommy's wife. So I didn't even understand that interaction.
Look, it's like they went out of their way to make both of the characters extremely unlikable, and like I didn't feel any of the wonder that they're trying to that she's trying to that Riley is. I'm sorry, that Ellie is trying to convey. Like maybe it's because she's unlikable. I mean, no disrespect to the actress, but she's unlikable, and when she tries to have the childlike wonder, I just don't. It doesn't land for me. So
I was just waiting anxiously for the cordyceps to
I know, right?
To grab her, get her, and eat her.
And also, like it reinforces what I said, which is that Pedro Pascal. You know, you disagree with me to a certain extent, but he's the only thing that keeps the show from falling into even worse territory. And when he's gone, Ellie cannot carry.
Why the hell is he gone? Agenda.
Yeah, Ellie cannot carry the show on her own.
Joel was not in this episode because agenda, and we need to pay more attention to dead characters who happened to be gay than alive characters who are the protagonists.
Yep.
That's what it is, and the fact that anyone thinks this is, you know, benign or sees it as ideologically neutral just shows how triumphant their agenda is.
Maybe if they had given a whole episode to Joel and Tess's courtship, maybe then I could possibly sort of kind of buy it.
Even Tommy and his wife, like, still
drive by and got no attention paid to them other than like
they're equally irrelevant as Bill and Frank were.
Yep.
I still don't understand the significance.
Oh, it's like even that. Like that's like they need to, unless you give like at least two of those.
Is this an ensemble show?
Yeah, unless you give Joel and Tess or Tommy, like unless you give them full episodes, I'm not buying it. That you just decided to detour off the chosen path and it's an hour long, dude.
It's pandering to the shippers.
It's an hour long. I was talking about yesterday. I said I am sick to death of hour and 10-minute shows. I don't need it. 42 minutes without commercials. Give me 42 minutes.
The showrunners are just being so precious, and they just think that they're doing something so groundbreaking. And I can feel that in every line that they write, and every you know, lingering shot. I can feel their narcissism, and it like on top of the show being so boring, it makes me angry.
Yep.
So I just don't see it recovering from here.
Luckily, we only have 3 episodes to go, and at least for me, who hates it mildly less than you, if they feature Joel heavily in the next 3 episodes, I might not hate it as much, but I have a feeling that you are in for a rough ride as we get closer and closer to the end here. So we'll see where it goes. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.